Greetings, everyone. T-Strats here with what I believe is my most insightful and compelling video I've ever produced on The Last of Us Part 2. I honestly think this video will enrich your understanding of The Last of Us Part 2 in ways that you really never thought possible. So the catalyst for this entire video began this morning when I was asked by someone what my impressions were on The Last of Us Part 2 menu screen. My initial thoughts were basically that it appeared to be journeying into uncharted waters, passing the point of no return, a motif that is often found in many books and movies with a voyage by boat. And the last one was crossing the River Styx. There's a cost, wink. And that last one is the one that really kind of started this whole thing. You see, earlier that morning while searching my closet for a book about the Enneagram, I picked up my copy of Dante's Divine Comedy and thought, I should read this again. After viewing this menu screen, something clicked. I had this epiphany moment, and so many pieces fell into place. I have very good reasons to believe that the setting and story of The Last of Us Part 2 are directly inspired by Dante's Divine Comedy and Greek mythology in general. A journey that starts from the Elysian fields of Jackson and ends in the underworld of Hades, that is Seattle. My theory is that Ellie is on a journey to the underworld from the land of the living, which is an inverse of the journey of Part 1. And one of the very first things that Neil Druckmann ever said about The Last of Us Part 2 is that Part 1 was about love and Part 2 is about the exact opposite, hate. And this seems to coincide with that.
Yeah, if the first game was really like the core of it, the theme was about the love between these two characters and how we build that through story, music, interaction, gameplay, mechanics. This story is the counter of that. The story is about hate and how we use all those same things to make the player feel that through Ellie this time. First game is like you play as Joel. This game you're playing as Ellie.
In terms of the physical landscape, Jackson, with its beautiful golden fields, is Elysium, also known in Greek mythology as Elysian Fields. It's a place where heroes and mortals chosen by the gods could live out the rest of eternity as they had in life. Seattle, on the other hand, is essentially the underworld, having been built upon a swampy marsh. In the late 1800s, fires and landslides due to over-harvesting of timber led to the destruction of most of the city, which was then literally rebuilt on top of the old ruins, creating an underground catacombs underneath the area known as Pioneer Square and most of the other surrounding areas as well. This area was notorious for its prostitution, drinking, gambling, opium dens, human trafficking, and the violence that accompanies it. This mimics both pandemonium from Milton's Paradise Lost and the actual swamp of Hades in Dante's Divine Comedy. One of the more interesting discoveries I seem to have made was that the River Styx and its tributaries seem to function as analogues for the defining characteristics of the various factions in the world of The Last of Us. The River Styx separates the world of the living from the world of the dead. 4 other rivers combined with the Styx to form a marsh at the center of the underworld. They are Acheron, the River of Woe, which I have identified with the unknown group with the guy who I'm calling Interrogation Man. The second, Cocytus, the River of Wailing, is the infected. Third, Life, the River of Unmindfulness, I have attributed to the WOLF and their unmindfulness with the PlayStation Vita. The fourth is Phlegethon, the River of Fire, which I have associated very, very succinctly with the Seraphites. This river was described by Plato as a stream of fire which coils around the earth and flows into the depths of Tartarus. Tartarus is an area of Hades where 200 fallen angels are imprisoned. It became a space dedicated to the imprisonment and torture of mortals who sinned against the gods, with each punishment unique to the condemned. Those who committed the crimes seen as curable would be purified there, while those who committed crimes seen as incurable would be damned and displayed as a warning for the living. Based off this information and the information I shared in my A Discerning Glance video, I believe we can regard this area as the residence of the Seraphites. But the parallels don't end there. We're just getting started. In Greek mythology, Cerberus is the hound of Hades, the multi-headed dog that guards the gates of the underworld to prevent the dead from leaving. There are literally dogs all over Seattle in these gameplays. In the underworld of Dante's Divine Comedy, there are entities called Shades, who are those in between life and death. The infected fill this role, as the hosts are not really alive, nor are they dead. So at this point you may be saying, wait, what group represents the River Styx? The word Styx is derived from the Greek word stux, which means hate. The River Styx is represented by Ellie. And here is where things get really, really damn interesting. Charon is the boatman of the River Styx, responsible for bringing the nearly deceased across the river that divides the world of the living and the world of the dead. Ah, but there is a cost for passage. A coin placed in the dead person's mouth. Failure to pay results in the deceased not being able to cross, and being forced to wander the shores for 100 years or more. Kinda sounds like the infected in the world of The Last of Us, doesn't it? One of the critical skills that Ellie lacked in The Last of Us Part 1 was an inability to swim. Well, now in The Last of Us Part 2, she can swim. This also indicates that Ellie can, in fact, act as the role of Charon for the infected, as she possesses both the cure and the ability to actually kill them. The boat on the river is Ellie's, and she is the potential boatman. Is your mind blown yet? No? Well, keep listening. So that brings us to the next crucial question. Why is Ellie making this journey? Is she bringing people back from the afterlife, like Orpheus? Or is she ferrying people to their punishment, to their final fate? Well, based off what Neil Druckmann has said pervades every ounce of this experience, I think we both know the answer to this. The second part of my theory is simply this. Ellie's journey is not just a physical journey, it is an emotional journey as well. After an extremely turbulent first 13 years of life, Ellie finally found her home and her humanity in Jackson. Unfortunately, due to a violent and traumatic event, Ellie has become completely consumed by vengeance and is slowly shedding her humanity and becoming less human. This, coincidentally, sounds very, very similar to someone becoming a clicker, a fate which she is completely immune to. And there is the catch. Yes, Ellie is physically immune, but not mentally immune to losing her humanity.
The way I see it, we got two options. Option one, you take the easy way out. It's quick and painless. I'm not a fan of option one. Two, we fight.
Fight for what? We're gonna turn into one of those things.
There are a million ways we should have died before today. And a million ways we can die before tomorrow. But we fight for every second we get to spend with each other. Whether it's 2 minutes or 2 days, we don't give that up. I don't want to give that up. My vote Let's just wait it out. You know, we can be all poetic and just lose our minds together.
So this concludes my theory video today. There was just a few things I wanted to mention here at the end. One is I did not receive a review copy. I did not start playing the game and come up with these theories and ideas after having played through it. That is not the case at all. I wish I would have got one, but I did not. I am not a career YouTuber. I am not a media member. I'm just a guy who makes these videos because he really, really loves this game. I love factions. I love posting my factions videos, but as you hopefully can see by this one as well, I do like taking a more serious and philosophical approach to some of these topics as well. So if you did like this video, please consider liking the video. Please consider subscribing. If you would like to tell your friends about it or post it on social media, that would be great as well. If you really wanted to be supportive, you could also become a member of the channel, which I don't ever ask anyone to become a member, but if you wanted to, it is there for that reason. All right. Thank you so much for your time today. I hope you sincerely enjoyed this. I personally love this theory. I think it really enhances the game, and I can't wait to find out if a lot of these things turn out to be true. I really think they will. I feel pretty damn strong about this one. All right. Have a good rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Have a good one. Cheers.